So yeah, this talk, it's not about sleep hygiene, it's not about supplements, it's not about relaxation techniques, it's not about any of that because you've probably already tried that and it doesn't work. What this talk is about is it's the gold standard evidence-based treatment to overcome your insomnia. So to get into point number one straight away, that is to only go to bed when you are sleepy. Now you may have heard the opposite advice before, but you should set your bedtime by your watch. But sleep is a drive state. So in the same way, the longer it is since you last drunk, the thirstier you are. The longer it is since you last slept, the sleepier you feel. So if you set your bedtime by your watch and you go to bed when you are not sleepy, what that causes you to do is to go to bed and be awake. And when you're in bed awake, typically people with insomnia will start to feel stressed and they start to feel anxious because they don't like being in bed, and I will get onto that later. So yeah, give yourself permission to only go to bed when you are sleepy. Tip number two is if you're in bed and you are awake, just have a think about how you feel. So if you wake up during the night and you are and you're not asleep, or if you go to bed and you're not asleep, have a think about how you feel. If you are relaxed, if you are happy, if you're calm, and you're just as happy to be in bed awake as you are asleep, if you stay there and allow sleep to come, it will. But if you're starting to feel anxious, if you're starting to feel stressed, if you're starting to feel your heart rate increase and you're starting to feel hot, just leave the bedroom and do something that you find relaxing and enjoyable. Now in CBT-I, this is called stimulus control, and typically people with insomnia, they will have conditioned over the years their brain to associate the bed with a place of wakefulness, a place of anxiety, a place of stress. So by giving yourself permission to leave the bedroom when you start feeling that, you are conditioning the brain to see the bed instead as a place of sleep. Because if you can spend your time in bed asleep rather than awake, or in bed in a relaxed, calm, happy place, you're conditioning your brain that the bed is a place of sleep and it's not a place to fear. Also, by leaving the bedroom in the night and doing something you enjoy, you're teaching the brain that wakefulness during the night is not a threat. So if you've got something that you really look forward to during the night and the brain sees that that it's something you can do that you would actively enjoy, you stop worrying about sleep, you stop worrying about not sleeping, and you actually, because you're not worrying about sleeping, you start to sleep more. So yeah, anything you want to do is fantastic. So read a book, listen to a podcast, watch some TV, blue light's not going to kill you. If it's something you would enjoy and you want to do that in the night instead of lying in bed trying to force sleep, trying to fight with sleep, trying to plead with sleep, because it doesn't work. So get out the bedroom and do something you actively enjoy and would look forward to doing. Tip number three is one of the most important pieces of advice I can give you, and that is to get up at the same time every single day. Sleep is a drive state and it needs consistency and it needs regularity. So if I give you an analogy here, so Nick is a normal sleeper. So like all normal sleepers, Nick doesn't sleep well every single night. Nobody sleeps well every single night. But Nick tends to sleep well most nights, and he doesn't have any anxiety around sleep. He's got a healthy relationship with sleep, so he's not an insomniac. So Nick typically sleeps for about 6.5 hours most nights, and he wakes up at 6:30 a.m. So the only thing that produces a drive to sleep, is wakefulness. So to produce 6.5 hours of sleep, Nick needs 17.5 hours of wakefulness. So because Nick needs 17.5 hours of wakefulness, if he wakes up at 6:30, he's going to start feeling sleepy at around about midnight. So Nick will typically feel sleepy at about midnight every single night. But if Nick were to wake up at 9:30 a.m. instead of his usual 6:30 a.m, Nick will start feeling sleepy at around about 3 a.m. because he needs that 17.5 hours of wakefulness. So the fastest way to anchor your circadian rhythm and to anchor your homeostatic sleep drive is to give the regularity your sleep needs and get up at the same time every single day. One of the most important pieces of advice I can give you. Tip number 4 is to get light, natural or artificial, as soon as you possibly can and in the first third of your day. Tip number 5 is not to believe the 8-hour sleep myth, because people who do not have insomnia, so normal sleepers, they tend to overestimate how much they sleep by about 1 hour, because everyone will wake up during the night, but typically people don't remember they wake up during the night. So when they ask them, oh, how much did you sleep last night, they would tend to estimate about an hour over what they actually slept when they look at the data collected from the sleep lab. So, and the same is true with insomnia, but the opposite. So insomniacs tend to underestimate how they sleep by about an hour as well. So normal sleepers overestimate how they sleep by about an hour, and insomniacs underestimate how they sleep by about an hour. So don't believe the 8-hour sleep myth, because if you're trying to force 8 hours of sleep, that's going to cause you to spend more time in bed worrying and becoming anxious about sleep, trying to achieve something that the vast majority of people do not get. Very conveniently on to point number 6, which is to spend less time in bed. Spending less time in bed reduces the hyperarousal and anxiety of being in bed. So I've mentioned hyperarousal before, and I'm going to explain what that is now. So to give you a very quick analogy of what hyperarousal is, Vicky is going on a camping trip to a national park. Vicky is a normal sleeper, so she has a healthy relationship with sleep, and she would usually start to feel sleepy around about 11 o'clock at night. So she's pitched her tent, she's in her sleeping bag, and it's coming up to 11 and she's starting to feel sleepy. Just about to drift off to sleep, and then she hears the howl of her wolf to the right. She listens to that, and it's very close to her tent. On her left, there's a scratch, scratch, scratch of a bear. So she's got a big, bitey, growly wolf on her right, and a big, scratchy, pointy, gnarly bear on her left. What's the chance of Vicky sleeping that night? No chance whatsoever. She does not have insomnia, but she's not going to sleep because there's an actual, real, tangible threat to her safety. Because of that, she's anxious, she's stressed, she's worried. And when she starts feeling like this, there's a physiological change to her body. So the body will start releasing cortisol, adrenaline, her heart rate will increase, her body temperature will increase, because the body is putting her in a fight or flight mode so that she can either run away or she can punch the wolf on the nose. Now that is that's what it's like to have insomnia. It's like you've got a wolf in the bedroom all the time. Insomnia, there is no physical threat to your safety, but the brain cannot tell the difference between a tangible physical threat, like a wolf, and a perceived threat, like insomnia. So if you're worried about stress, about not sleeping, and you're anxious about not sleeping, you get the same physiological response in your body. Your body will start producing adrenaline, it'll start producing cortisol, your heart rate will increase, and your body temperature will increase, and it's putting you into a fight or flight state in order to mask your drive to sleep to keep you safe. So it thinks it's helping you, and it thinks it's helping you, and that's why it's doing it. So if you spend less time in bed, that is spending less time in that hyper-aroused, anxious state, and it also is one of the fastest way to regulate your sleep drive, and it also builds a strong sleep drive. So it builds a strong sleep drive, and it regulates your sleep drive, and it prevents you spending that time in that hyper-aroused state in bed. So point number 7 is to understand what causes and perpetuates insomnia. So typically people with insomnia, just as I did, think that the events in your life are what cause or perpetuate your insomnia. So you think, well, I don't like my job, I'm stressed at work and I don't like it, so if I change my job, then I will sleep. Or you'll link it back to that trigger that happened in the past, and you'll use that to try and explain why you have insomnia now. So that trigger might have happened 20 years ago, but you'll think, well, if I can just unpick those problems that happened there and solve that, then I will sleep now. Or you'll link it to anxiety or depression or PTSD, to a medication change, to your age. And yeah, whilst all these things I mentioned can cause a short-term sleep problem, they are not what cause insomnia to perpetuate over the long term. The only thing that causes and perpetuates insomnia are your behaviours and your thought patterns, which lead to hyperarousal. So your behaviours are things like trying to catch up on sleep by sleeping late in the day, which gives you a very unregulated sleep drive, napping during the day, spending a long time in bed trying to force sleep, and also your thought patterns and your hyperarousal, or what we've just talked about. So sleep is actually very simple. If you have a drive to sleep and you are not hyper-aroused, you will sleep. So sometimes the hyper-arousal can be so strong that it will mask the sleep drive, but if you have a drive to sleep and you're not hyper-aroused, that's when sleep happens. So if you understand what causes and perpetuates insomnia, you will understand that your insomnia is in no way, shape or form unique. And when you understand that your insomnia is not unique, you understand that it can and will be overcome. So point number 8 is to be very mindful of active sleep efforts. Now, active sleep efforts are every other video you're probably going to see on YouTube by someone who is not trained in CBT-I or in what I trained in, which was NATO with my sleep physician. So they will have videos like use this breathing technique to fall asleep in under 10 minutes, or use this meditation technique, but it is impossible to make sleep happen if you are not already sleepy. So other active sleep methods are kiwi fruits, they're hot baths, they're acupuncture, they are sleeping on a different side of the bed, they're sleeping on the floor, they are listening to light music, they're sleep hygiene. So anything you are trying to do to make sleep happen actually does the opposite. It actually makes you more worried about sleep, it makes you more stressed about sleep, and it does the opposite of what you want. So yeah, be very mindful of active sleep efforts. Just to give you a quick little demonstration of how pointless they are. So I want to turn my hair blue. So to turn my hair blue, I'm going to use a breathing technique to turn my hair blue. So you're going to try really, really hard to turn your hair blue. But of course, it's absolutely impossible to turn your hair blue just by using a relaxation technique. I mean, it's incredibly impossible for me because I have no hair. But if you've got hair, it's also impossible for you to turn it blue by using a breathing technique, just like it's impossible to make yourself sleep by using a breathing technique if you are not already sleepy. So yeah, these things are great for reducing anxiety, they're great for you feeling grounded during the day, helping you relax during the evening, but nothing can make you sleep except for your sleep drive. So yeah, if you are not, if you have a drive to sleep and you are not hyper-aroused, you will sleep. Point number 9 is to be very mindful of avoidance sleep efforts. Now, avoidance sleep efforts are I can't. It's incredibly common. I did a lot of them. So I can't, if I want to sleep tonight, I can't go see my friend tonight. I can't exercise tonight, I can't go to that restaurant tonight and drink any alcohol, I can't stay in a hotel, I can't go on a holiday, I can't sleep in a bed with my partner, I can't. And yeah, whilst all those things may impact your sleep in the short term, but they're also going to impact a normal sleeper's sleep in the short term. So a normal sleeper will probably not sleep as well in a hotel as they would in their own bed, but they do it anyway. So yeah, whilst these things can impact your sleep in the short term, trying to protect your sleep and treating your sleep like it's something fragile just causes you to obsess and worry about sleep more, and it causes you to limit your life. It takes your happiness from your life, and it takes your feeling of control and agency over it. So the best way to take that control back and get that agency back in your life that insomnia has took from you is, if you've got something you enjoy but you would love to do, teach your brain that insomnia is not a threat by going and do it anyway. It is hard to do that. It's a complete mindset shift, but if you can teach your brain that that is not a threat, you'll get that control and you'll get that enjoyment back in your life, and insomnia will stop controlling you. So yeah, very much for watching this video. I really hope it has helped you. If it has, please like and subscribe, and if you would like to help other people overcome their insomnia, please share this video on a website, blog, whatever you've got. I don't really know how it's done because I am pants with the internet, but if you know how to do it, and yeah, you would like to get this sleep knowledge out there to help as many people as we can overcome their insomnia and to put sleep hygiene in the bin exactly where it belongs, that would be absolutely fantastic. Yeah, so thanks very much for watching, and yeah, I'll be uploading more videos, so do check back. Alright, thanks very much, cheers, bye bye.